Southwest Airlines invented point-to-point flying in America. No hubs, no connections. Fly people directly between city pairs that legacy carriers either ignored or priced out of reach. That model, launched from Love Field in 1971 with 3 aircraft and 3 routes, became the most replicated business concept in the history of commercial aviation. In the summer of 2026, Southwest is cutting routes, abandoning secondary markets, and restructuring its network toward hub-connecting flows at Denver, Nashville, and Midway. Profitability, not the point-to-point promise, is now the organizing principle. The airline filling the vacuum it is leaving is 5 years old. Breeze Airways, founded by David Neeleman in 2021, now serves more than 85 cities across the United States, Mexico, and the Caribbean. It is adding routes in secondary cities that Southwest is exiting. It just won the 2026 Apex Best Major Airline in North America award, against legacy carriers with decades of brand investment. This is the story of how a 53-year-old airline and a 5-year-old airline swapped philosophies and what it reveals about who actually owns the point-to-point future. Southwest's original model was not about being cheaper than the airlines that already existed. It was about connecting the people those airlines had decided weren't worth connecting. In 1971, the U.S. Department of Transportation coined the term the Southwest effect to describe what happened when Southwest entered a new market. Fares dropped, traffic increased, often by 300 or 400% compared to pre-entry volumes. The passengers who started flying were not stealing market share from competitors. They were new passengers, previously excluded, now able to afford the journey. For 50 years, Southwest flew those markets. It built its identity and its 47 consecutive profitable years on the specific promise that it would serve the routes others ignored. In 2024 and 2025, under pressure from Elliott Investment Management, Southwest began exiting some of those markets. Bellingham, Washington, Syracuse, New York, Houston's Bush Intercontinental Airport, Chicago O'Hare completely abandoned as Southwest consolidates all Chicago operations back at Midway. 11 international routes cut in summer 2026, including Colorado Springs to Cancun, a market Southwest had entered just 1 year earlier. Profitability, not point-to-point reach, is now the organizing principle. David Neeleman has built 4 airlines. JetBlue built on leather seats and live TV. WestJet built on warmth. Azul built on connecting Brazilian cities nobody else served. Each airline was built on the same principle: find the market that the established carriers have decided isn't worth serving and serve it better than anyone else. Breeze was built on that principle applied to American secondary aviation. Not the markets Southwest was serving, the markets Southwest had not entered, or had entered and exited, because the volume was too thin for a carrier needing to fill a 189-seat Boeing 737. The Airbus A220 is the aircraft that made Breeze's model possible. 137 seats in a 2-2 configuration, no middle seats on most configurations, quieter engines, lower cabin altitude. A route that requires 130 passengers to break even on an A220 might require 170 on a 737. If the market generates 140 passengers, only one of those aircraft types can make the route work. Neeleman identified precisely why Breeze had to avoid direct competition with Southwest and the legacy carriers. In December 2025, he said, "Going to the teeth with those guys with the credit card revenue that they have, their international networks, you have to find your niche." Breeze found its niche by flying where the teeth aren't. The inversion is not rhetorical. It is geographic and operational. Consider San Antonio to Raleigh-Durham, a corridor with no nonstop service. American Airlines serves the broader market via its Charlotte hub with 3 to 4 daily connections. Breeze is filing to launch the nonstop, a direct point-to-point service between 2 mid-sized cities that legacy carriers have decided require a hub connection. That is precisely what Southwest was built to provide. Consider the West Coast expansion. Breeze announced service to Hollywood Burbank, Redwood Coast Humboldt County, Redmond, Oregon, Eugene, Oregon, and Tri-Cities, Washington in March 2026. Avalo Airlines had just announced it was exiting those exact markets. Breeze moved in the day Avalo moved out. Consider Fort Lauderdale to Birmingham. When Spirit flew that route, it carried 64,000 round-trip passengers annually. Spirit collapsed. The route became unserved. Breeze is entering it. Southwest, Applying its current profitability filters is not. The market Southwest is retreating from is the market Breeze was built to enter. Is Breeze the airline Southwest used to be, or is it something different? Drop it in the comments. The comparison between Breeze and Southwest is not simply about routes. It is about what has happened to the product on each side. Southwest's transformation under Elliott produced a carrier that now charges for bags on basic fares, assigns seats in 8 boarding groups, and has added premium extra legroom rows. These decisions generate revenue Southwest previously forfeited. They also narrow the gap between Southwest and the legacy carriers it was always differentiated from. Breeze is operating the A220 in a configuration with 2-2 seating, no middle seat on most configurations. Every passenger on a Breeze A220 has either a window seat or an aisle seat. The cabin is quieter than a 737. The product is objectively more comfortable than Southwest's 737 product, and Breeze is positioning this as a feature, not a premium it charges extra for. The Apex Best Major Airline in North America award for 2026 is based on real passenger feedback submitted through in-flight surveys. Real passengers comparing their Breeze experience against alternatives and Southwest is currently limited. Breeze is not challenging Southwest's strongest markets. It is targeting the markets around and between those corridors, the secondary cities, the underserved point-to-point pairs, the routes that Southwest's profitability focus has deprioritized. The relevant competition is not for Southwest's existing passengers. It is for the market that Southwest is no longer competing for. The question this comparison raises is which airline is currently carrying the philosophical mission that Southwest was founded to fulfill. Southwest's original mission was to democratize flying, to serve the passengers and the routes the established carriers had decided weren't worth serving. That mission produced the Southwest effect. It produced 47 consecutive profitable years. The new Southwest, chasing a $4 earnings per share target, cutting underperforming routes, morphing toward hub-connecting flows, is pursuing a different mission. Maximize revenue per available seat mile. Concentrate resources on the markets where the return is highest. That is not a wrong mission. It is a rational shareholder value mission. It is also precisely the mission Southwest was founded to challenge. Breeze, operating A220s into secondary cities that legacy carriers have decided aren't worth direct service, is pursuing something that looks functionally identical to Southwest's original mission. Find the city pairs with no non-stop service. Connect them. Charge less than a hub connection. Watch the traffic develop. Neeleman built JetBlue on what the established carriers weren't doing. He built Breeze on what Southwest, the airline he studied before launching JetBlue, has now decided it doesn't need to do anymore. The irony is precise. Southwest inspired Neeleman. Neeleman built Breeze in Southwest's image, and Southwest, transformed by a hedge fund, is retreating from the market Breeze was built to occupy. The student is inheriting the teacher's abandoned classroom. The aviation press has covered this as a David and Goliath narrative. That framing misses what is actually happening. Southwest is not being challenged by Breeze on its strongest routes. What is happening is more interesting. Southwest is voluntarily retreating from a market position it built its identity around. Breeze is not chasing Southwest. It is occupying the position Southwest is leaving. Whether that matters to Southwest's financial future is unclear. The routes Breeze is entering generate modest revenue at current traffic levels. The routes Southwest is focusing on generate significantly more revenue per available seat mile. The financial logic of Southwest's retreat is defensible, probably correct, on the time horizon that Elliott and its board are operating on. Whether it matters to Southwest's identity has a clearer answer. Southwest built 53 years of brand equity on the specific promise that it would serve the passengers and the routes the established carriers had abandoned. That promise is what generated the Southwest effect. Breeze, founded by the man who studied Southwest before building everything he subsequently built, is now making that promise to the passengers Southwest is no longer making it to. The 5-year-old airline is not beating the 53-year-old airline on its strongest routes. It is inheriting its founding mission. In 2026, that might be the more valuable thing to own.